Welcome students in the next part of our video. In this part we are going to see about petroleum. Now what is petroleum? Petroleum is a dark colored thick crude oil. It is also having an unpleasant smell. It is found deep below the earth crust in between the rocks but in certain areas. Now, how does this word petroleum came? From where it is derived? The word petroleum means it is divided into two parts, that is petra and oleum. Petra means rock and oleum means oil. So, it is the oil which we found in between the rocks. So, it is known as petroleum. Right, so it is the word derived from two words, that is petra and oleum. It is a mineral oil, or you can say a crude oil, that is found in between the rocks. Okay, now petroleum is a product, you can say oil having many products. It is not that we use it in a raw form. No, there are many products obtained from petroleum. But first of all, let us see how petroleum is formed. Then we will be seeing the products of petroleum. So, petroleum was formed from the remains of plants and animals, that are sea plants or animals. Sea plants and animals, those died and got buried under the sea and before millions of years. Right, now this plants and animals, those died, their bodies settled down at the bottom of the sea and they got covered with many like a large amount of mud and clay and sand and everything. Now due to high temperature and pressure and also in the absence of air, these all dead bodies of plants and animals got converted into petroleum. And this got converted not only into petroleum, but along with petroleum even natural gas is formed. Now do you know what is natural gas? Natural gas we use in our vehicles, that is CNG. Right, nowadays it is highly used in vehicles, that is CNG. Right, so this natural gas and petroleum, they are formed deep under the sea in between the rocks, and it is a very slow conversion of dead bodies of plants and animals into petroleum and natural gas. See, I'll show you the figure. This is how we can see a petroleum mine, you can say petroleum wells. Right, you can see the petroleum and natural gas layers above the water. Why it is above the water? Because oil does not mix with water, it floats over water. So petroleum is found over water, which is an oil, and the gaseous form, that is natural gas, it is even over petroleum. So whenever you drill a petroleum well, what happens is, first of all, natural gas comes out with great pressure and that is collected. Then comes petroleum, right, and then it's the water layer. So you can see that petroleum oil and gas, they are above the water in the petroleum wells. Do you know where in the world was the first petroleum well drilled? It was drilled in Pennsylvania in USA, and that is in 1859. But in India, it was first of all drilled in Assam. That was in 1867. The first petroleum well that was drilled in India was in Assam, in Makum. That is in 1867. Now let us see how petroleum refining is done. And the process of refining petrol into its products is known as fractional distillation. It will be separated into its different fractions. So it is known as fractional distillation of petroleum. Now this fractional distillation is done on the basis of boiling points of its each product. According to their boiling points, these products get separated from petroleum. See, this is the figure of a petroleum refinery. Right, this process is carried out, that is fractional distillation process. It is carried out in a petroleum refinery. Now this table 5.1 shows the various constituents of petroleum. When petroleum is refined, it is separated into this constituents of petroleum. The first constituent which we get is petroleum gas, but it is in liquid form. So that is what we say LPG, liquid petroleum gas, which we use in our kitchens, in stoves to cook food. Then the second constituent is petrol, then kerosene, diesel, lubricating oil, paraffin wax and bitumen. Right, so these are the various constituents of petroleum. When petroleum is refined, it is divided into these 7 constituents. Now we will be seeing natural gas. Now what is a natural gas? As I told you earlier, it is the fossil gas, fossil fuel which is found over petroleum in the petroleum well, but somewhere it is found alone also. Sometimes it is found alone also. It is the natural gas, that is CNG, what we say, compressed natural gas. It is used for the power generation, right? It is used for the generation of power. It is also used in the manufacturing of petrochemicals. If you remember, students, we had learned about petrochemicals in our chapter number 3. Petrochemicals, they are used for the manufacturing of polyester, dyes, plastics, right? It is the product, or you can say substance, which is formed from petroleum and natural gas. It is obtained from petroleum and natural gas, and that is why it is known as petrochemical. So natural gas, it is used for the manufacturing of this petrochemicals, and it is used as power generation also in vehicles. Right, so here we can see that we have many uses of this petroleum. Our life, can you imagine our life without vehicles, without these fuels? Without these fuels, even industries will not run, right? Not only vehicles, but on industries, in manufacturing all the products which we use, right? Everywhere petroleum and its products are used. So it is having a very, you can say, important role in our day-to-day life, and hence due to its great use, commercial use, or you can say great importance, it is known as black gold also. Petroleum is also known as black gold. Now where do we find natural gas in India? Do you know anyone? Where do we find natural gas in India? It is found in Tripura, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and in the deltas of Krishna and Godavari. Right, in the deltas of Krishna, Godavari. So this was all about natural gas, right? But as I said, it is having a great importance in our life. If we use these materials without any care, we should not forget that these are exhaustible natural resources. So if we use these materials without any care, they will be getting exhausted, and our next forthcoming generations will not be able to use these resources. right? Now if we want this resources to be you can say conserved for more further years, we have to use it very carefully. We need to conserve it, right? And also, as it is having any drawback, you can say every coin has its two sides. So as it is having many uses, this natural resources, if used very much, have their drawbacks also. They cause a lot of pollution: air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, right? And the main reason of global warming also, right? So in India, there is one association known as PCRA, that is Petroleum Conservation Research Association. This association works for the conservation of petroleum and its products and its constituents. They work for its conservation, and it is for both the things, to have our environment pollution free and also to conserve it for the use of our future generations, right? So this PCRA has taken out, like you can say, listed out few rules for every vehicle drivers also. Any person will be issued a license if and only if he or she is aware of these rules. So nowadays, you, if you know, before getting a license, you have to appear for an exam, right? Now what are these exams for? It is just to know whether the person is knowing these rules about driving or not. Now let us see what are these rules which PCRA has advised the people to follow. The first one is drive at a constant and moderate speed as far as possible. Why moderate speed? Like if you have seen in any vehicle speedometer, there is one green mark in it where it is written economy. That is the moderate speed at which that particular vehicle should be driven. If you drive that vehicle in economy mode, economy you can say status, then their vehicle will be giving maximum average. Least amount of fuel will be used, and with that least amount of fuel, maximum average for that vehicle will be driven out, right? Then next is switch off the engine at traffic lights or at the place where you have to wait. So should not use the vehicle, or you can say fuel, when you are not driving, when you are standing somewhere. Third one is ensure correct tire pressure. Now you might be thinking, tires are not using fuels. Why to ensure tire pressure? The reason is, if the tire pressure is low, then that vehicle, you can say engine, it will be more loaded. It will be getting more load. It will be using more fuel for that vehicle to be driven. So correct tire pressure is very important. And the fourth point, you can say not last and least, ensure regular maintenance of vehicle. आपको भी टाइम टू टाइम खाना पीना चाहिए कि नहीं? इस तरह से व्हीकल का भी उसके टाइम से मेंटेनेंस इज़ वेरी वेरी नेसेसरी, right? So these are few rules which PCRA has advised the people to follow. So this was all about our exhaustible natural resources: coal, petroleum and natural gas. Hope you all would have understood it properly. Go through your notes and this chapter for your better learning. Thank you.